Oh my, angles. Let's get the right angles and angels here. um. Okay, so oh my gosh, instantly one person, huh? Eh? What's that about? Eh? What's that? No, not gonna go there. So I'm gonna read a little bit from a book, and yeah, I got the illumination going on. Illuminated one confirmed. What's up, Alex? Hello, good sir. So, Alex, you're the first in. I will pull you a card if you so choose. Hannah Marie. Ah, good. Good on you, brother. But before I start pulling cards, I got some stuff to spit out and to read. So first, I wanted to give a big shout out to James True and Genevieve, and also Owen Benjamin as well. What's up, Synchron? Purple Hearts? Yeah. So, wanted to talk a bit about vitriol. If y'all don't know what that word is, look it up. And it just it's a word that's it's used for, basically whenever you have a trigger happen inside of you, and then a recognition of why that is happening inside of you. So vitriol is basically like getting harsh criticism. So we have an option, how to choose to see, how to choose to integrate the criticism. It's not even criticism though, it's just life. So how we choose to integrate. So if we've done integration, if we've integrated what we need to on certain levels, then the vitriol, the criticism that comes to us, the harsh criticism, it's gonna we're gonna see it for what it is. We've already integrated. We're not gonna have a response. So like. So we're going to be able to see that the person giving out the projections, that they still have undealt with stuff. But if that stuff is poking or prodding at us inside, then there is stuff inside that we need to deal with, and that's why the gifts of Baal, as James True says, with the vitriol, it's really, life offers us gifts. So it's up to you, how you want to choose to see things. So the vitriol is merely seeing what you need to integrate, seeing if something is poking at you in a certain way, then that means that there's still either trauma or drama inside of you that you need to give focus upon and give time to further integration. Now, the gifts of Baal, that's gifts of Babylon. If you don't know what Baal is, look up that word. Essentially, that's the bowels of your being. So whenever you have that trigger, you feel it in your bowels, in your guts. So the gifts of Babylon Uh, they they're not inherent. They're not inherently gifts until you make them gifts. What does that mean? That means you see it for what it is, and then you also you rise above it, but below it as well, and into it. And anyways, this is all just an integration process here. You fully immerse yourself within these experiences, and then it's all a gift. So transform mentality of vitriol, gifts of ball, into seeing clearly. Because yes, we can get upset about what's going on in the world right now, or we can see catalysts. We can use things as catalysts. I've been noticing that a lot of people are waking up right now because of the gifts of Babylon. And they're only gifts because of people like James True and people like you and me who are seeing deeply and feeling deeply. Uh, Otherwise, they're just going to be perpetuations of the same old traumas and dramas being used and played again and again. This is the same old story and the same old script. I'll get to the chat here in a minute. Let me read some of this. And then another thing, is the nature of evil. What is evil? And then, Owen Benjamin wants to say that James True is saying that evil doesn't exist. That's not what he's saying. Even if James True is saying that, that's not. And I really like what he says in that it's not a noun; it's a adjective, and that evil is evacuation. And these still aren't quite pinpoint accurate. It's the thing is once the evacuated has given in to certain traumas and dramas, then the acts that follow are deemed as evil. That's the adjective there. There are particles of all the universal energies in man. There are many of them, and they are contradictory, but all the particles of universal energies must be balanced in man, combined in a single harmonious whole. When even one comes to predominate, the others are immediately reduced. The harmony is violated, and then the earth is transformed and becomes disharmonious. So you could liken that to evil. So essentially, what evil is an imbalance, and like what James True says, a vacancy. So the disharmonious nature, the repetitive disharmonious nature, and why does that keep being repeated and perpetuated? Why? These are the questions, queries. So I'm going to read a parable. If I'm still connected, seems to be the case. This is called Which Temple Shall God Be In? Anastasia's first parable. The people in one of the many settlements on earth were living happily. There were 99 families in the settlement. Each of the families had a beautiful house decorated with fanciful carving. The garden around the house bore fruit every year. It raised the vegetables and berries itself. People greeted the spring joyfully and took pleasure in the summer. This sequence of cheerful, friendly holidays gave birth to songs and dances. In winter, people rested from the daily rejoicing, and contemplating the heavens, they tried to decide whether the stars and moon could be woven into better patterns than they now had. Once every 3 years, in July, these people gathered together in a glade at the edge of their settlement. Once every 3 years, God answered their questions in an ordinary voice, invisible to the gaze of ordinary eyes. God was tangible to each and every person, together with each resident of the settlement. He would decide how best to arrange life for the days to come. The conversation between the people and God was philosophical, but sometimes quite simple and jocular. For example, a middle-aged man said to God, "What were you doing, God, at our holiday this summer when we all gathered at dawn and you started soaking everyone with rain? The rain poured until dinner time like a heavenly waterfall, and the sun began to shine only at dinner time. What were you doing before dinner time? Sleeping?" "Not sleeping," God replied. "Since dawn, I'd been thinking how best to act so that the holiday would come out wonderfully well. I saw how some of you, going to the holiday, were too lazy to wash with pure water. What should I do? It would spoil the holiday with their look. So I decided first to wash everyone, and then scatter the clouds and let the sun's rays caress your bodies." "Well, all right, if that's how it was," the man agreed, stealthily brushing a crumb of food from his whiskers and wiping the cherry stain from around his son's mouth. "Tell me, God," a man, an elderly, thoughtful philosopher, asked God. "There were many stars above us in the sky. What does their fanciful pattern mean? Can I, if I choose a star that pleases my soul, when I grow weary of earthly life, settle there with my family?" The drawing of the heavenly bodies flickering in the dark tell us about the life of the entire universe. A relaxed and collected soul will allow you to read the book of the sky. The book of the sky does not open up to idleness or mere curiosity, but only to pure and significant intentions, and you can settle on a star. Each can choose a heavenly planet for himself. You must observe just one condition. You must become capable of creating better creations on the star you choose than on Earth. A quiet young girl jumped up from the grass, tossed her dark blonde braid over her shoulder, raised her little face with its little snub nose, set her hands impudently on her hips, and suddenly told God, "I have a complaint for you, God. For 2 years I have waited impatiently to express my complaint, and now I will. There is something wrong. something abnormal happening on Earth. All the people live like people, fall in love, get married, and make merry. So what am I guilty of? As soon as spring comes, freckles come out on my cheeks. There's nothing to wash them away with or color them. Did you think up for your amusement, God? I'm demanding that in the new spring I not have a single freckle again. Oh, my daughter, there will be no freckles, no flecks on your beautiful little face in the spring, but I will call them what you want me to. If you consider freckles such an inconvenience for yourself, I will take them away next spring, God replied to the little girl. But right then, at the other end of the glade, a well-built youth stood up, and with downcast eyes said quietly, addressing God, we will have many things to accomplish in the spring, God. You will try to take part in each matter. Why would you waste your attention on freckles, especially since they are so beautiful? I cannot imagine an image more beautiful than a young freckled girl. So what should I do? God said thoughtfully. The maiden asked, and I promised her. What do you mean, what should I do? The maiden intervened once again in the conversation. The people say you should busy yourself with more important matters than freckles. But if we are talking about flecks, then I say you can add two like this for symmetry. Here on my right cheek. God smiled. This could be seen from the fact that the people smiled. Everyone knew that soon a new and beautiful family would be born in their settlement. Thus the people lived with God in their amazing settlement. One day 100 wise men came to see them. The joyful residents always greeted visitors with all kinds of food. The wise men tasted wonderful fruits and admired their unusual taste. Then one of them said, "O people, your life knows its measure and it's beautiful. There is plenty and comfort in each house, but no culture in your communication with God. There is no glorification or worship in the divinity." Looks like we're still good. But why? The alarmed residents attempted to object. We communicate with God as we do with each other. We communicate once every 3 years. But every day he rises as the sun in the garden. He bustles around each house from spring on as the bee. In winter he covers the earth as snow. His affairs are clear to us, and we are glad each time. The way you have set this up is wrong, the wise men said. We have come to teach you how to communicate with God. All over the world, palaces and temples have been built for him. In them, people can communicate with God every day, and we are going to teach you. For 3 years, the residents of the settlement listened to the wise men. Each of the 100 defended his own theory as to how best to build a temple for God and what to do in the temple each day. Each of the wise men had his own theory. The residents of the settlement did not know which of the 100 wise teachings to choose. In addition, how were they to do this and not insult the wise men? So they decided, listening to them all, to build all the temples, one per family. But there were 99 families in the village, and there were 100 wise men. Hearing the decision of all the residents, the wise men became upset. This meant someone would not get a temple, and someone would not receive offerings. They began to argue among themselves as to which of the theories for worshipping God was the most effective, and to draw the settlement's residents into their debate. The debate heated up, and for the first time in many years, the residents of the village forgot about their time for communicating with God. They did not gather in the glade as before on their appointed day, and another 3 years passed. Around the settlement stood 99 magnificent temples, and only the huts no longer shone like new. Some of the vegetables went unharvested, and worms began eating the fruits in the orchard. All this is because you do not have a complete faith, the wise men proclaimed in the different temples. Bring more gifts to the temple and worship God more diligently and more often. Only one wise man, the one left without a temple, on the sly told one and then another, "You have done everything wrong, people. All the temples you have built are the wrong construction, and you are worshipping in the temples incorrectly, uttering the wrong words in your prayers. I alone can teach you how you can communicate with God every day." As soon as he was able to convince someone, a new temple rose up, while one of the existing ones immediately fell into decay. Once again, the wise man who was left without offerings secretly tried to defame the others before the people. Quite a few years passed. One day, the people remembered their former gatherings in the glade, where they heard God's voice. Once God Once again they gathered in the glade, and began asking questions in the hope that God would hear them and answer as before. "Answer us. Why has it happened that our orchards yield wormy fruits? Why don't vegetables grow in our gardens every year? Why do people quarrel among themselves, fight, argue, but cannot choose the best faith for all? Tell us, in which of the temples built for you do you live?" God did not answer their questions for a long time. When his voice was heard in the dimension, it was weary, not cheerful. God replied to those gathered, "My sons and daughters, in your houses, surrounded by gardens, there is today desolation, because there was too much for me to do alone. Everything was conceived of intentionally, initially, by the dream that only together with you could I create what was beautiful. But you turned away in part from your own garden house. I cannot create alone. The creation must be joint. I also want to tell you all that love and the freedom of choice are in you yourselves, and I am prepared to follow your wishes with the dream. But you must answer me, my dear sons and daughters, which of the temples should I take up residence in? You are all equal before me, so where should I be, so as not to hurt anyone? When you decide the question of which of the temples I should reside in, I will follow your collective will." Thus God answered them all, and then fell silent. The people of the settlement, which was once beautiful, have continued their debate to this day. There is desolation and decay in their houses around them. The temples rise higher and higher, and the debate grows even sharper. So yeah, hopefully that all came through. It seems like it did. That was a little parable of the times leading up to now that Whenever we give our awareness away from uh, the natural resonance, then we end up in this state that we're in of chaos and confusion, and within siddhis of manipulation, and a vacancy happens here. Is it evil? Is it inherent evil, or is it simply going along with, essentially, it is agreeing to something, to intervene in your connection with the all that is. You want to call that God or divine intellect. It's a intermediary that then can hold power and sway over your own power of awareness and discerning what is real for you. Okay, we'll get back to the chat. An ego break. Yeah, I mean, I just went through that, bro. Hannah Mori. Yeah, for me, it wasn't about fears, but that's a big one. Exactly. The inner alchemy, like I've been telling people, continue the inner alchemy. Thank you, Alex. I'm glad. Hopefully, that is able to come forth. So I will draw some cards. Uh, Alex, Alex G, my good man. Do you want some tarot, or do you want um, some oracle, or do you want to pass? It is up to you. I'm not forcing anything on anyone. Tarot it is, my good man. Thank you for choosing tarot, because I was having a rough time drawing a card last night from the tarot. Dude, yes, good card. Yes, there we go. There we go. The Hanged Man. Very good. Very good. I often do inverted, whether it be on like it's called Olympic rings, the wooden rings that you can do different exercises from. I inverted on that. Just doing handstands or headstands, inversions. Just look up yoga inversion postures, The inversions are very good. Because, yes, maybe this is an inverted world that we live in, but it's because of the occulted nature that we've been brought up in. So the inversion, we have to learn to invert so that we can get a full perspective upon where we're at right now. Because things don't always seem like they are, so we have to be able to have a different spin and uh, aspect ratio to look at things. A muscular man hangs from a bough of Yggdrasil. Ah! Yggdrasil! Shout out to the heathen! Benjamin. What is his last name? I forget his last name. I'll leave a link to it. He's with James True, though. The sacred tree of Norse mythology, suspended from one ankle by a cord of flowers. He holds a staff decorated with bits of shell, bone, and feather. As his eyes look within, his expression is peaceful. His hair spreads out into the pool of water below him, swirling within the symbols of patterns forming in the ripples. Suspended between the worlds, the hanged man links heaven and earth. He is a visionary, a shaman, a mystic. His connection with the ethereal realm imbues him with psychic powers. When the hanged man appears, some element of your life is on hold. You may feel vulnerable and be questioning things you've always taken for granted. Your world may even feel like it's been turned upside down. But have faith. Allow yourself to be in suspense for a while. Let go of having every answer. It may not make any sense to you right now, but a reversal of ideas could be exactly what's needed. The hanged man often asks for a sacrifice in exchange for his wisdom. Feelings of being stuck or trapped persist only as long as you cling to your usual perspective. If you are willing to give up some belief or attitude that no longer serves you, your reward will be well worth it. You will gain a deep understanding of your life. And this new perspective, old dilemmas, and chronic problems can be resolved. So that's exactly what we talk about whenever we say, empty thy cup, in order so that we can truly fill it with gnosis. Oftentimes with people, they have to go through some kind of dark night of the soul. That's not always necessary, but for most, it is necessary. Um, and then how we go through that is very important, very potent in our learning, in our process of healing. Of course it did, Hannah Marie. Of course it did. Yeah, that was a good card. Thank you for that, Alex. I needed that just as much as anyone else. So, dude, that's fucking dead on, bro. Like, I really needed that. Like, for real. Almost every time I draw for someone, it's like, and I say almost every time. No, it's every time. That's why I'm like, I don't know if I'm drawing for other people or yeah, dude, Hannah Murray. Okay, you're up next, bro. Hannah Murray, do you want a tarot or an oracle card? Or a pass? You definitely can pass if you don't want anything. If you just want to have the next person in line, which would be synchron. Whatever I'm called to. Well, the point is whatever you're called to. What's up, Angie? How are you? Much love and appreciation to you, dear one. You know what? Since we did tarot, then I will do oracle for you. Yes, I said oracle before I saw it. Nice. $36. Yeah, it's gonna be cutting it close to where it usually cuts my streams out. So, uh oh. So we'll see if I'm still live or not. I just saw a weird fucking glitch going on. Ooh, good one. Chimera. Oh no, starting to glitch. Hopefully you can see that. Glitchy City. Yeah, big time glitch. Trying to close programs. Ooh, we got a lion for all you Leos out there. Your teeth. Yeah, my Alex, what does that mean? My teeth. Yeah, I still got my teeth. I don't know if I'm getting these right. Uh, Chimera. There's just fucking flames and fire and then old trees, which I've been looking into an old growth forest to go visit. So that's beautiful. And I am a fire dragon and a fire drake. So that's fucking right on for me again. God, dude. It's nonstop here, right? $38. I've learned the quick way to find it now. Towards the end, eh? Okay. I got you, Alex. Wait a second. Why did it say 38 and there's no... That's interesting. So it's 39 then. But it's not 39. Okay, are we good? Are we clear? Chimera, compromise between opposites, balance. Oh, I was just talking about the Chimera card suggests the opportunity to find union between seemingly disharmonious parts of your life. How can you seek creative compromise? The chimera itself was compromised of different animals. It was described by Homer as part lion, part serpent, and part. Today, the word chimera is used to describe a fantastical hybrid creature. In Greek mythology, Chimera was the daughter of Echidna. The connection is unstable, of course, like I said. So yeah, maybe if I keep going. Let me know if we're good or not. Because I am frozen on my end. Yeah. Wow, now I'm getting a shit ton of messages. Okay. Refresh, reload. It's a good movie. I don't understand why it is showing that. Am I glitching? Are we clear? I'm guessing no. Really? It's not glitching? Because it seems to be glitching. Okay, is Hannah Marie still here? Because if so, I will read that card again. Looks like I outweighted the glitch game this time. Cool. Okay, bro. So instead of reading that again, I'm just gonna say it's about balancing the things inside of you, and ultimately, and that's on the inward, and on the outward, it's balancing. This crazy shit that we're going through right now. The chimera basically is balancing your uh, natural world with Babylon. Not necessarily, accepting or coming to it, but realizing it for what it is, finding your own balance within that, finding your own path within that. And that doesn't mean just existing within it, and that can mean that. It can also mean finding the way to liberate yourself through that, um, beyond that. Fucking up. And my computer is frozen. So if I'm still alive, that is insane because my computer is 100% usage of disk space, 90% of memory. Uh, yeah, I mean, this is what it does whenever I go live. So cool! Like the picture, beautiful. Absolutely. Okay, so is Synchron still here?